Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Hmm.
Today, we are going to be focusing in on how businesses can reach peak performance.
Okay.
And we're going to be focusing on service businesses in particular.
Right.
And we're taking a Blinkist approach to this concept.
Yeah. It's really interesting how all of these pieces fit together to make a really great service. It's
Yeah.
like almost accidental when you come across a service that you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not accidental at all.
Right.
There's a system behind it.
Right.
So we're kind of breaking down like this triangle of success.
Exactly. Yeah. The source material introduces this framework built around three key components.
Yeah.
So it's the service cask,
Uh-huh.
the service standards,
Yes.
and the service delivery system.
Right.
So first up, we have this idea of the service task.
Yes.
And that's like the heart and soul of your service.
Yeah. So if you walk into like a local coffee shop,
Yeah.
their service task isn't just like brewing coffee and selling it.
Yeah.
It might be something more along the lines of like creating a sense of community or like fueling people's passions.
Right.
And that's the service that they're actually providing.
Yeah.
It's like something above and beyond the transactional level that
Yeah.
speaks to a deeper need or desire.
Yeah. And to make sure that why is brought to life in a way that customers are consistently happy with, we have these service standards.
Uh-huh.
And these are like the benchmarks, the quality control
Yes.
that guarantees a certain level of consistency.
Yep.
Cost efficiency,
Yeah.
and customer satisfaction.
Yeah, think of it like your services report card.
Right.
Are your wait times minimal?
Yeah.
Is the staff knowledgeable and attentive? Are
No.
the facilities clean and inviting?
Right. So we have the why with the service task,
Yeah.
the how well with the service standards.
Yep.
But to actually make this all happen in the real world,
Mm-hmm. Right.
we need the howard of the service delivery system.
Yeah. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
It encompasses every single detail. Yeah.
From the tangible technology and facilities to the operational side.
Yeah, it's like looking under the hood of the car.
That's a great analogy.
You got all these interconnected parts working
Yeah.
together to make sure the vehicle runs smoothly.
Right. And I think our source material dives into some really interesting examples here about
Yeah.
aligning your delivery system with your service task and standards.
Yes.
Think about the layout of a fast food restaurant versus a fine dining establishment.
Right.
They're designed to cater to very different
Yeah.
service tasks and standards.
Right. And the source talks about this in terms of the airline industry
Yeah.
and how, established airlines that are known for their premium services often struggle to compete in the low-cost market.
Right.
It's not that they can't offer cheaper fares,
Uh-huh.
but their existing systems, from the aircraft to the staff training, just aren't built for that.
Right.
So-
Which is why we see things like Singapore Airlines creating separate airlines.
Right.
Silk Air, Scoot Tiger Airways.
Right.
Yeah.
Each one of those is targeted towards a specific
Yeah.
service segment with a delivery system built to execute on that task and those standards.
Like having specialized factories,
exactly.
but for different types of flying experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. They're basically saying, we can't be all things to all people with just one system.
Right.
We need to create separate systems that excel in their own unique niches.
Exactly.
It's a pretty ingenious approach, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it highlights a key takeaway for any business, no matter how small.
Right.
It's about recognizing that different services need different setups to shine.
Yeah. Now, before we get too deep into the weeds here,
Yeah.
let's bring this back to you, the listener.
Yeah, think about a service that you absolutely love.
Right.
Maybe it's your favorite restaurant, a subscription box that you just can't live without,
Mm-hmm.
that go-to app on your phone.
Yes.
Can you pinpoint the service task,
Yeah.
standards, and the delivery system?
Yep.
How do those three elements work together to create the experience that you love?
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
This framework isn't just for corporations.
Right.
Even if you're a freelancer or a small business owner or part of a small team,
Yeah.
getting clear on these three components can be a total game changer.
It's like a blueprint
Yes.
for success,
Totally.
regardless of the scale of your operation.
Exactly.
What's cool is that this framework can evolve with your business
Mm-hmm.
as your service grows and changes. You can kind of revisit and refine these elements.
Right.
Okay, I'm ready to dig a little bit deeper into real-world applications of
Okay.
this framework.
Yeah.
What do you say we explore a few more examples after a quick word from our sponsors?
Sounds good to me. Welcome back. Let's dive into some more specific examples to really illustrate how this framework plays out in different industries.
Yeah.
Healthcare, for instance?
Healthcare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a service where the stakes are high. It's all about trust, expertise, delivering care with compassion.
Absolutely. So if a hospital service task is centered around, providing patient-centric care,
Yeah.
their standards would naturally reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about things like minimizing wait times,
Right.
ensuring clear communication with patients and their families,
Mm-hmm.
and, cultivating a really supportive and comfortable environment.
Yeah, and the delivery system would have to be designed to support those standards
Right.
every step of the way.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking efficient appointment scheduling systems,
Mm-hmm.
well-trained staff who are not only skilled but also empathetic listeners,
Right.
and a facility that's just designed to be calming and accessible.
You're hitting on the key point here,
Yeah.
that interconnection.
Yeah.
If a hospital invests in a state-of-the-art building but the staff is rushed and impersonal,
Right.
the patient experience suffers.
Yeah, it's like having a fancy car with a sputtering engine.
Exactly.
All the bells and whistles won't make up for that core dysfunction.
It all comes back to that weakest link principle.
Right.
One misaligned element can throw the whole system off balance.
Exactly.
And that brings us to, this idea of factory focus,
Uh-huh.
which might seem like a strange concept to apply to service businesses,
Right.
but it's incredibly relevant.
Yeah.
Just like a manufacturing plant thrives on specialization and streamlined processes.
Right.
A service business benefits from having that same laser-like focus on its core purpose
Yeah.
and how to deliver on it consistently.
It's not about trying to be everything to everyone, right?
Right.
It's about excelling in a specific niche
Yeah.
and building a system that supports that niche flawlessly.
Exactly. And our source gives a fantastic example of this.
Yeah.
They talk about how Zappos, the online shoe retailer,
Hey.
built its entire brand around exceptional customer service.
Uh-huh.
Their service task wasn't just selling shoes.
Right.
It was delivering happiness.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
So much more inspiring than just selling shoes.
I know. And to achieve that,
They created a culture that empowered employees to go above and beyond for customers.
Right.
They invested heavily in staff training, implemented flexible return policies,
Yeah.
and even offered free shipping both ways.
So those are all elements of their service delivery system that are perfectly aligned with their delivering happiness
Exactly.
service task.
And it's that alignment that made them so successful.
Yeah.
It's a powerful illustration of how focusing on a specific service task and then building your standards and your delivery system around it
Yeah.
can lead to remarkable results.
Okay, so we've talked about airlines, healthcare, online retail.
Right.
Now I'm curious to hear, how our listener might apply this framework to
Absolutely.
their own experiences.
Let's shift gears and think about a service you use regularly but find frustrating.
Okay.
Maybe it's your bank, your internet provider,
Uh-huh.
or even that gym that you signed up for with the best of intentions.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Can you use this framework?
The service task, the standards and the delivery system to pinpoint the problem.
Right.
What's the disconnect?
Yeah, is the service task unclear? Are the standards not being met?
Right.
Or is the delivery system just clunky and inefficient?
Exactly.
I have a perfect example, my local dry cleaner.
Okay.
Super convenient, but the quality is a mixed bag.
Oh, no.
Sometimes my clothes come back perfectly, but other times they're still wrinkled or there's a button missing.
Oh, man.
It's such a gamble.
Okay, let's break it down.
Okay.
What do you think their intended service task is?
Probably something like providing quick and convenient garment care.
Okay.
The speed and the convenience are definitely there,
Uh-huh.
but the inconsistent results tell me their standards aren't quite where they need to be.
Exactly. So the issue might be in the delivery system.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps they need to invest in better training for their staff.
Right.
Or implement a more robust inspection process before close go back to customers. Maybe they're rushing the cleaning process to meet those speed expectations,
Uh-huh.
and the quality is suffering as a result.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
By applying this framework,
Right.
I can see where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
It's not that they're intentionally providing bad service.
Right.
It's that their systems just aren't quite aligned with their intended service standards.
And this highlights how important it is for businesses to regularly evaluate and adjust these elements.
Yeah.
The task, the standards, and the system.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process to make sure everything is working in harmony.
We've covered a lot of ground from airlines to healthcare to even the dry cleaner around the corner.
I know, right?
What's striking is how relevant this framework is
Yeah.
across industry,
Well,
whether you're running a multinational corporation or a small local business. Understanding how these three elements work together can make all the difference
absolutely.
in creating a service experience that is not only effective,
Right.
but truly enjoyable for both the provider and the customer.
It's about recognizing that a well-designed service is a win-win.
So-
It's about creating value, building loyalty,
Mhm.
and fostering positive connections.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question to consider. Imagine you have the power to redesign a service that you use regularly.
Yeah.
It could be anything you're banking, your favorite streaming service, even your local grocery store.
Yeah.
How would you use this framework,
Mhm.
the service tasks, the standards, and the delivery system to make it truly exceptional?
Think big.
Yeah.
What would you keep the same?
Right.
How would you ensure that those three elements are working together in perfect harmony?
Yeah, to create an experience that not only meets but exceeds expectations.
Right.
We've been talking about businesses and organizations, but here's something to consider.
Okay.
We're all providers of services in some way,
Oh, that's interesting.
whether it's helping a colleague, supporting a friend, or just making someone's day a little brighter.
Yeah.
So how can we bring this service mindset
Right.
into our everyday lives?
Right.
Maybe it's being more mindful of how we communicate, setting clear expectations, or just being more reliable and responsive
Yeah.
to the needs of others.
By consciously considering those three elements,
Wow.
the why, the how well, and the how
Right.
of our interactions,
Exactly.
we can bring that same level of intentionality and excellence
Yeah.
to every aspect of our lives.
This deep dive has been all about giving you, the listener, a new lens
Right.
through which to view the services you experience. It's about empowering you to not only recognize great service,
Yeah.
but understand what makes it great.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to apply these principles
Yeah.
to your own work or your personal life.
Right.
After all, we're all capable of creating remarkable experiences for others.
Yeah.
It just starts with understanding the fundamentals.
So keep exploring, keep questioning,
Yes.
and keep striving for that perfect alignment of service task standards and delivery.
I love it.
Until next time, happy deep diving.